friends, in today's video we're going to be making Mexican pizza. Now this is my mom's recipe of Mexican pizza. This is what she made for me and my sister when we were growing up at home, and back then thought it was the best Mexican pizza ever, and today still think it's the best Mexican pizza ever. So without further ado, let's get going and make some Mexican pizza. So let's talk pizza crust. In my opinion, the best tasting, the best texture, all of it is a homemade, made from scratch pizza dough. And I'm a pizza crust junkie, so that's really important to me. So if I have the time, I would rather make a pizza crust from scratch. However, time is a big factor when it comes to making homemade pizza crust. So if you have the time, it's definitely worth it. But if not, there are other options, and I wanted to bring that to mind. First option that my mom used to make is she would buy frozen bread. They come in loaves, and use that, thaw it out, and use that as a pizza crust. Now, I don't know how much time it takes to unthaw that. That might be something that you have to unthaw in the refrigerator overnight. I'm not really sure how that goes. But the problem is, the reason why I didn't get one and kind of experiment with it is because I haven't been able to find them in my area. So you may not either. I've been looking at different grocery stores and I haven't been able to find it. So if that's available to you, that is an option, and you can play around with that using for your pizza crust. Another option that you can use for your pizza crust is there is in the pizza section packets for crust, kind of like instant, like cakes and things like that. Like you have a mix. Same thing for pizza crust. There's packets. That's usually my go-to when I'm stretched for time, is pizza crust packets, because all you have to do is add oil and water. And if I wanted a bigger, thicker crust, I would usually get 2 packets, use them as one for your dough ball. Okay, another option for you would be already made dough that's in the refrigerated section. You just pop it out, it's already made for you. And if you're wanting a thicker crust, just double that and have 2 by 2 crust for your one pizza. And then another option is already made crust. It's also in the pizza section area of your grocery store. And that's a little pricier, like $4 or $5, I think, is what I looked at. But then it has 2 crusts with it. That being said, it makes it a good option to use if you're stretched for time. In the next section of the video, I'm going to be going over making the copycat Pizza Hut pizza crust, tongue twister, for the Mexican pizza. So if you're using a different option for your pizza crust, you can just skip on over to the next section to see how I dress the pizza. But I will say, if you're making any other form of crust, make sure that your crust is finished, pretty much finished baking and done before you start dressing the Mexican pizza. Well, friends, I've got to tell you, making Mexican pizza is bringing back a lot of childhood memories for me. But you know, the one thing I did not know, I watched my mom make Mexican pizza, but I never knew or paid attention to the fact that when she made the crust for the pizza, it was out of frozen bread dough. As a matter of fact, I went all this time making Mexican pizza on my own, but I never asked her, Mom, where's your crust recipe? I never knew until recently that she had used frozen bread dough. And you know, it has to be a really good shortcut using bread dough, because I never knew as a kid any different. To me, it tasted like professional, you know, when you order pizza, that, you know, crispy, soft dough. And I'm a crust junkie. Like, I like the crust of a pizza probably as much as the whole entire pizza. The favorite parts of the pizza for me is the crust and the cheese. The rest of the toppings, there's some toppings I like more than others. But of course, I'm a vegetarian, so I'm not one about pepperoni or sausage or anything like that. To me, pizza was cheese, sauce, bread. That's what I enjoy. Of course, I like other things too, like mushrooms and olives and things like that. But my favorite parts of the pizza is obviously going to be crust and cheese for me, because I'm a crust junkie and a cheese junkie as well, I guess you could say. As a matter of fact, I have never been one of those type of people talking about being a cheese junkie and a crust junkie. I've never been one of those type of people that even thought about throwing away my crust. Like, I have seen kids and like adults give their crust to the dog, and my husband is one of those that gives his crust away to the dog. And good for the dog, he's got a little snack, but I'm a little stingy and selfish when it comes to that. I'm like, I'll give him a little piece of it, but the crust is mine. I mean, it's my favorite part, right? So to me, throwing away the crust is like a sin. So now we're getting into what some would consider the work part of making dough, and that's kneading. You're going to knead this dough for about 10 minutes. Just set your timer and just knead away. Think about back in childhood days when you used to play with Play-Doh and you just did all this for fun, which leads to another point. If you have small kids at home, this might be something fun, a fun project. Just make sure their hands are real good and clean and get in there and let's just have some fun kneading dough. And after your dough is kneaded, you're going to cover it with some olive oil and cover your bowl with some plastic wrap. Let it sit on the counter for about 2 hours. Let it get some height to it, and then you're going to punch it down. After you punch it down, you're going to get it all grouped back up into a ball and then cover it again and put it in your refrigerator until the next day. So for me, the hardest part about making the pizza dough, or any dough for that matter, is just kind of the planning. When's the best time to do this kind of thing? Like during the week, it's not a good time for me. And you've got the extra things with the dough, the kneading and the cleanup and all that. So basically I chose a Saturday evening because I don't know if you're like me, but after church and everything, everybody's starving. So the dough's already done. So making the pizza dough, the planning and all of it is the longest part about the whole process. After that, it's a pretty quick process to get dinner on the table. And so coming home from church, just bringing out the dough from the refrigerator and getting the rest of these things together. Dinner's on the table in no time after that. And so when you bring it out from it sitting all night in the refrigerator, allow it to warm up. And while it's warming up, go ahead and get your other things ready, like brown your taco meat, put your taco seasonings in it and get it good and saucy. Bring out your refried beans and enchilada sauce. And you're going to mix a little bit of that enchilada sauce in your beans just to make it spreadable. That's all you're really looking for on that. And then go ahead and shred some cheese and get all your ingredients together. Get your pizza pan out and spray it down. And by the time all those things are completed and done, your dough should be warm enough to go ahead and take out of the bowl and start pressing it out, stretching it, and getting it to the shape and size of your pizza pan. So after you get your dough pressed out and stretched to the shape of your pizza pan, and also remember, you're going to shape it to where if you want a thicker crust, make sure that you kind of bunch up more of that dough to where, pinch it around the edges to where you have a thicker crust, if that makes sense. And then so you're going to go ahead and put it into a preheated 475-degree oven for about 12 to 15 minutes, or until it looks nice and light brown all over. Also, you're going to take a fork and score your pizza dough all over, and this is to prevent it from bubbling up when you bake it. So traditionally, for traditional pizzas, would be the time that you would go ahead and put a sauce on it and all your toppings and all that and just bake it all together. But this pizza is a little different in that it's got a lot going on with it in terms of the toppings. It makes it kind of like a more a rugged, hearty meal. So you're going to go ahead and bake your crust first and then put your toppings on it. And speaking of it being a hearty meal, not only is it hearty, but it's also very versatile. I've mentioned before that I am a vegetarian or slash carbitarian because I love my bread. But, and my husband he's more of a meat person, more of a carnivore. And so this is one of those meals that I can make vegetarian because my taco meat is Impossible meat, which I absolutely love Impossible meat. It has made a world of difference in my cooking with me and my husband with our having to compromise. But so yeah, you can make this pizza to where it is so versatile for any picky eater. Just as long as they, of course, like taco seasoning and taco spices and things like that. This is a good meal to serve picky eaters, picky crowds, because it's kind of like a nacho bar or taco bar where people can just put on the toppings and things that they want to put on in the end, just as long as, I mean, even if someone is a person that doesn't like refried beans, you can make it to where half of it's refried beans and all of it has the taco meat on it. And, just change it up, switch it up, just like you would like with a pizza. When you can order a pizza half this or half that, you can do the same thing with this. Just adjust it to everybody's flavors. And not only that, but with a typical pizza, usually when like our family's around, when you order a large pizza, you think, okay, well, most people will eat 2 to 3 slices of pizza. But with something like this, it's so hearty that I'm telling you, I can't even finish one slice of pizza. It's got so much to it, so much bulk, that is very filling. So one large pizza like this can feed a lot of people. My husband eats only 2 slices of pizza, and he's a guy that, I'm not saying that he is got a huge appetite, but I'm saying, for a guy that can eat more, probably double or triple what I can eat, he only eats 2 pieces of pizza. So that should kind of give you like a rough guide as to how filling this pizza is. So you're going to put your pizza, after you put your toppings on the beans and the taco meat and the cheese, you're going to go ahead and put that in the oven and just get the cheese good and melted and get with the beans where it's nice and warm. Everything is a good warm temperature. So at this point, when it comes out of the oven, this is your finished Mexican pizza, and then you'll cut it up in slices, and then at that point, everybody can individualize what in toppings, further the colder toppings they want on their pizza. And just a second, you'll see the differences and my slice of pizza versus my husband's slice of pizza. And that's what I mean. Like, now this is my husband's slice of pizza. He's basically, his color wheel is brown, orange, red, white, yellow. So that's his slice of pizza. That's what he likes on nachos and things like that. Just basically sauce, meat, beans, cheese, sour cream. Now, my slice of pizza, as you can see, I'm going to load up on the veggies here. Got lettuce and tomatoes and cheese and sour cream and olives and all that kind of stuff. And of course, you could just, the sky's the limit on what you want to put on yours. Jalapeno peppers, you could put, you know, guacamole, anything like that that goes on a nacho or taco type of food. You can load your pizza up with that. And let me tell you guys, it is delicious. Something about the warm meat, beans, and all that with the cold, it just makes for a delicious combo. And I would also like to point out that you're going to need to keep your pizza with the meat, beans, and cheese the way it came out of the oven, just like that, if you're going to save any for leftovers. Okay, now I get to taste this. That is so good. Okay, you got to try this. Got to. Okay, just in case you're wondering about the crust itself, I pulled a little piece off of my pizza to show you how soft that crust is. It is really, really good. It's like how the professionals do it. Hey there! Thanks for hanging out with me today. If you found any value in this video, let's be friends. Hit that subscribe and like button, notification bell, all the things, so you won't miss any future videos. Thanks for hanging out with me. Hey, before I forget, do you need something sweet to eat for after dinner? I got just the video for you. Just a little reminder, a full list of ingredients is listed in the description of this video. Until next time, blessings to you. Take care.